something warmer to actually add into my blues. And I'm going to be adding something, let's see, something greener. See this color here? This is quite a nice color. And let's start adding this into our markings over the blue. And they're going to kind of mix in together as they are very similar in value. Again, as I said, we don't create mud by adding colors that are very similar in value. Like so. And don't be afraid that our cat looks too blue or too green now. He's gonna look white by the end that we're done. And I'm adding those darker areas around the eyes. So here, those tear ducts, they kind of lead to the eye and they are darker. So I'm starting to add the darknesses there as well. Like so. And also on this eye. Here we have that darker area of the marking on this kitten. Like so. On the nosy here. And let's add it also into this darkest area of the mouth. So we're gradually darkening it. You can work in pastels, mostly you work from dark to light, but sometimes when you have a white subject, it's best to work from light to dark. So now already I have my markings on the face, and you can see that slowly the kitten is kind of emerging from there. I'm looking at those darker areas. So I see that there's just a tad darker area here by the ear, and again I'm blending it in to create that appearance of smooth, fluffy fur. Adding some of this color also on the top of the head, just to counteract a bit that blue. So we're playing cool and warm here. And blending it out into the paper. If I've gone too far out, we always have the kneaded eraser. Can take the color back, but here mostly the colors are quite gentle, so we don't have to worry about that. Here there is a bit of darker area on the eye, and then as we move closer to this side it starts to become lighter, but under the cheek here where we added this blue, there's still some of that darkness visible, just a bit here, and I'm still adding the same blue, the same green, sorry. So very important to notice how the hair is growing on any particular animal when you're drawing it, because this is the way to actually show the kind of animal. Because if you were to draw against the fur growth, if you were to draw it differently, then it's not going to look convincing. So here I have that darker spot under the chin. We're going to blend it in. I'm going to add some of those darker strands here, like so, and again we're going to be rubbing them in. So we will add more texture only at the end of our drawing. So here, if I went again too far, I don't like how it looks here. It looks a bit muddy. I'm going to take it back a bit. And with a clean hand, just going to pull the color out like so. Okay. So I'm lacking a bit of this green that I see here under the mouth. And blending it in. Okay, so our kitten looks a bit scary right now. So let's go back to our yellower color, and let's add some strokes of this yellow inside here over the top, just to kind of dilute this same color. If we have patches of the color that is too homogeneous is the same, So I'm just adding this color just to kind of unify everything. Like so. Okay. And now what I want to do, I want to switch to my lightest colors. So for the lightest colors, I'm not going to be using whites first. First, I'm going to be using very light blues. This is a very, very light blue. And some light yellows as well. We're going to be mixing them in. So the first thing that I do is I create that top of the head of the kitten that catches light. So I see that there's this top that catches the light. I gently rub it into the head here. And now we're going to be pulling it out into the paper here, like so. Okay, next, I see that on the ear there's quite a sharp border of that light hitting the ear. And we add that, and then also on the other side of the ear, and slightly rubbing it out and pulling out those hairs. Then we have very bright light hitting this side of the kitten's head. Still adding just this blue. And also there is light on his body here. So the light is kind of shining from the back onto our kitten. And it's kind of backlit, so we see these hairs lit from behind. And again, I'm rubbing them in. Like so. So that hair has to be really smooth. This is also one of the reasons why we're using this side of the paper, as it has to be really smooth. So some hairs here are also slightly lighter. And also let's add some lighter hairs over here, and maybe this edge of the ear, let's highlight it a bit. Like so. Now with this darker blue, or actually let's take a violet that we used for the kitten, I want to add those lighter areas also on the face. Just a bit where I see those markings. So here above the eye, it's going to be lighter. And in between these markings. And also around this eye. So now we're working with the lights. So our shadow has to be, the lights in our shadow have to be darker than the shadows in the light. That's one of the most important rules to go by. So here I'm going to add this violet over here just to highlight those eyes so they start glowing. A bit of this violet over here. Okay, and now I can switch into very light yellow. So let's try this one. This is a very light yellow. And I'm going to start adding those lights with this very light yellow over the top of my blue. Like so. The ear, these hairs, just adding 1 or 2 hairs here just to create that appearance of the hairs growing out of the ear here. Like so. And I'm gonna take my violet, and I think I need something slightly lighter, so I'll add blue. This is a slightly darker version of the blue that we used in the light. And I'm going to add the lights on the face as we use the violet, just to switch up the colors a bit. This is our eye. And I see that here there is a lighter area in our shadow, like so. Also here. So we're kind of sculpting our kitten. Okay. And now we go into a slightly darker color. Let's see, this is a brown. I'm going to add just a bit of this darker color into the markings, just to darken them up a bit because they are quite prominent and I want to keep them on my kitten. Like so, and there's this marking here. Not using my pastel on its tip, always on its side. Okay, now we can add this into the nose. Blending it out for now, just to create that dark shape of the nose. And now we can start drawing out that eye. So I'm just drawing out the outline with this dark color. Like so. I'm going to blend it over the eye here. Like so. And the same thing I will do for this eye over here. So I'm not going with my black immediately because with the black you will have a flat look. If you layer your black over a color, it's immediately going to create that sense of depth. And I'm blending it in. So it has to also have the transition from the eyelid into our fur. So it's not that the eye is just stuck on top of our kitten. Like so. Let's add a bit of shadow inside the ear here with this color. Like so. And also some bit here. Just a hint that there's kind of a depth to the ear. Okay. Adding just a bit of this brown under the chin to create more depth. Like so. Cleaning my hands.